This is episode 314 of the Beyond the Food Show, and today I'm inviting you inside the Stop Stressing About Your Weight Day 2 Masterclass. It is time to let go of the shame and the stress we feel about our weight in our body. Ready? Let's do this. Welcome to the Going Beyond the Food Show. I'm Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist and creator of the Going Beyond the Food method. And after a 25-year dieting career that started at the age of 12, I decided to say hell no to diet culture and undiet my life. It is now my mission to help women undiet their life. If you're new to our podcast, be sure to grab our free podcast roadmap at stephaniedodier.com/roadmap. Ready, sisters? Let's do this. Welcome to the Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass. I'm so freaking excited to be able to put this on the podcast feed. This is the recording from the free live event that is happening, hopefully in the same time that you're listening this, February 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2022. And I wanted to invite our podcast audience to join us. If you're listening to this and we're not finished yet, meaning it's before February 17th, you can register to join us and we'll send you all the recording and the worksheet from the prior days. You can go to the show notes or at stephaniedodier.com/masterclass series. I've never done a 3-day masterclass before. I have done a lot of 1-hour webinars and training, but this is a big event where you get me for 3 days in a row and I'm coaching your brains out. Literally, we're going to get to work and solve this perspective you have on your weight in the 3 days. I'm going to teach you tools and technique to let go of the shame and release the shame out of your body and how to take control of the feeling you want to have about your body and your weight going forward. So I'm going to share my weight peace protocol. And I'm going to show you how to process and release emotion about your weight, about your body. But here's the thing. You can apply that to the rest of your life. It's the same process. We're just going to teach it in the context of what we do here at Undiet Your Life. I'm going to teach you the riding the wave process. We're going to spend a whole day on self-authorization, which when I discovered this concept through coaching the women in my program, I put my finger on what was missing. You'll see when you get in. This is day 2 of the masterclass. I'm going to teach you how to think intentionally, literally how to authorize yourself to think what you want about your weight and about your body. And on the last day, I'll be remiss if we didn't talk about other people's thoughts, words, and opinion, because that's a big roadblock as we enter the world of undieting our life. We are really, really worried about what other people in our life will have to say. So I'm going to teach you how to detox, literally how to release the worry you have about other people's thoughts and words and opinion about you, about your body, about the choice you're making. All of that can go away. And it's actually very simple. So I'm going to be teaching the first 20 minutes or so every day. And then I'm going to be answering questions and coaching. Because here's the thing. We can learn intellectually a pile of concept. Best example of that is reading the intuitive eating book. You can learn, you can read, you can understand the concept. But reading and understanding a concept is not what makes the change happen in your life. When we're talking about human behavior, yes, intellectual has a place into this and it must happen, but 75% of the reason why people change, transform, is because of the practice and the embodiment. In our coaching world, we have 3 stages of coaching. We have the learning, which is the intellectual process, and we have building the skill. Like we have to build the habit of doing the thing, and then we have to learn to live the rest of our life with this new behavior. So that's what coaching is about. And I'm going to give you a taste of that. I'm going to take some of the people who registered for the class that are raised their hand. I'm going to bring them forward and I'm going to coach them. Now, here's the cool thing. When you're listening to other people being coached, you learn more than when you're being coached yourself, as long as you're practicing active listening. So I'm going to teach you about active listening, and then we're just going to coach and learn. And by the end of the 3 days, I'm going to invite all the registrant, all of you on the podcast, to join us for the Confidence Bootcamp. The Confidence Bootcamp is a 6-week bootcamp where we're actually going to create confidence for our body, confidence for ourselves, and confidence in our life. We're going to continue the learning inside of Undiet Your Life, and a special focus on confidence for 6 weeks for all of you who are going to come join us inside of Undiet Your Life. The Confidence Bootcamp will start on February 28th. So you'll need to be a student of Undiet Your Life by that date. Okay, enough talking and introducing. Stop stressing about your weight masterclass. Let's roll in the recording. Okay, so we're recording right now. So if you're here for the first time, we had a whole bunch of people who registered since yesterday. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. If we're here on day 1 and it's a comeback for you for day 2, well, welcome back. We're gonna do half an hour or so of me teaching you different things, different concepts to help you release the stress about your weight and build confidence, and confidence that apply to anything you want, that it is about yourself, your level of self-confidence, your body, food, whatever you want. The principle I'm going to teach today have nothing to do with the topic, but it has to do on how you use your brain, which is your most powerful organ in your body. If you don't have a brain, your heart doesn't function. This is how powerful your brain is. It literally runs everything in your body. Every single thing in your body operates because of your brain. So what I'm going to teach today are tools to help you manage your brain so you can create the reality that you want in your life. So if you want to feel confident instead of ashamed, you can do that by using your brain. That's what we're going to teach today in the first half an hour. And then after that, I'm going to go on to answering question and Q&A. And holy moly, you guys, we had so many questions in the Q&A box from yesterday, and so many questions in the chat, and so many questions on email. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take them all, and we're going to add a bonus day. So get your pen and your paper. We're going to do a bonus coaching day, question and coaching day on Friday. So this event was designed to be 3 days, but there's so many juicy questions and so many people who wanted coaching on stuff. We are adding a supplemental day on Friday, same place, same time, same link, same everything. So 3 p.m. EST on Friday. And I'm going to answer all the questions I don't have the time to answer every day. And I'm going to be able to coach a lot of you. So take note of that. Right now, if you were here on day 1 and a whole bunch of questions unfolded in your brain between the last 24 hours, I would like for you to start putting them in the Q&A box. So for those that are new, at the bottom of your screen, there's a little kind of 2 box. It says Q&A. This is where you can drop all your question or your thoughts or your drama in your brain about what I'm teaching. And then I'm either going to answer it live or use it for Friday's Q&A. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to do live coaching. And live coaching will be done by using the little hand at the bottom of your screen. If you know right now you want to come on live and be coached, you can raise your hand right now. Or you can raise it later. That's going to indicate to me that you want to be coached, and I'm going to call upon you, bring you on the screen, and do a coaching with you to help you move through whatever you need to move. Which is, by the way, the feedback we had yesterday about one of you. Her name is Alyssa. I've received so many inspirational messages from people in attendance about the power of the coaching session we did with Alyssa. And what I really, really appreciated is that many of you heard me coaching her, and then you took the coaching that she received and you applied it to her. To you, sorry, not to her, but to you. You benefited from her being coached. And that is the power of group coaching. Group coaching, in my experience, I've been doing this work for 8 years, especially around shame and around confidence. Group coaching is 10 times more potent than one-on-one coaching. And I'm going to explain to you why. And Alyssa talked about that in her coaching session with me yesterday, where she said, it feels so good to be in a room of people who share the same challenges than me. And that's the key here. The number one way we can neutralize shame in any area of your life, the most potent way to neutralize shame is by sharing your shame with other people. Telling people that you feel ashamed. That liberates the shame from you. And that's why group coaching in the context of women and confidence is so potent, is because you're normalizing your challenge around shame and around self-doubt. You're seeing that there's hundreds of other women who are experiencing the exact same thing as you. And that shows your brain that the problem is not you, but the societal construct, the thoughts we're being socialized to have, that creates the lack of confidence that we experience. The other thing that I receive a lot of comment, and I wanted to point it out to everyone, is how I walk Alyssa through being uncomfortable being coached. What we did, and I don't think I've explained it very well, and I want to make sure that every one of you saw that. When we started the session with Alyssa, she shared that she felt really nervous of being in front of everyone and being coached. And I walked her through the riding the wave, which you got yesterday in your worksheet. We rode the wave of her discomfort. And that's how it took us less than a minute. That's how we process our emotion. We don't process our emotion by avoiding them. We process our emotion by being with them. What I call feeling, not fighting. As soon as you fight your emotion, you amplify them. So what we did with Alyssa yesterday is we sat with her discomfort. We didn't avoid it. We didn't run away. We sat with the discomfort and felt it. And then the wave, the riding the wave broke. And then we learned, right? We ask ourselves, what am I thinking that creates this discomfort? And that was the whole session yesterday, right? The whole session yesterday, day one, was about figuring out why we feel stress about our weight. And we did an exercise right away at the beginning, and then you realized that the stress, the shame, the anxiety you feel about your weight is because of the thoughts you have about your weight. That was the same thing for Alyssa yesterday. She felt discomfort being coached in front of people because she was afraid of what other people were going to think of her. So I want you to sit in that as you're thinking of maybe raising your hand for being coached. This is a great opportunity for you to ride the discomfort of raising your hand, right? That what I call an opportunity to learn, right? To practice what we're learning, to do the work. So I wanted to walk you guys through that because I think that was very potent. The other question that we received, and I think it's important to talk about it here, we've received question about the Confidence Bootcamp, which is the paid offer we're going to share with you during these 3-day masterclass. The Confidence Bootcamp is a 6-week coaching experience with me where every week we meet on Zoom like this. We do a little bit of teaching and then we coach you through whatever has come up during the week that separates you from being confident. The Confidence Bootcamp is inside of Undiet Your Life. So the question is, can you join right now on Diet Your Life? Absolutely. Hell yes. Like join right away. We have a section. You're going to get the recording for Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass. And then you can start going through the module inside of Undiet Your Life to be ready for the bootcamp. And by the way, we have for those of you who have challenges with food, we're in the middle of a course right now called Binge Peace. And the second installment of this course is tomorrow night. So if that's something that for you need help with, and you know you're going to join, might as well get in and get the Binge Peace part 2 tomorrow. Okay, let's get into today's content. And I see the question, keep putting them into the Q&A box and I'll get to this either today or Friday. So quickly recap 3 simple steps to stop stressing about your weight. Step 1, process the emotion you are currently feeling about your weight. That's what we did yesterday, riding the wave. Step 2 is what we're going to do today. You're going to authorize yourself to think different thoughts about your body. You're going to give yourself the permission to have a different opinion about your body. And then step 3, coach yourself in thinking these new thoughts about your body ongoing to create the emotion of confidence in your body. That step 3, the coach yourself into thinking this new thought, there's going to be obstacle on your way, right, of thinking these thoughts. On Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the number 1 obstacle, which is other people's opinion. Okay. And then the rest of the obstacle, that's what we're going to work through together in the Confidence Bootcamp. Okay. So how do we create confidence instead of stress? So I'm going to give you the answer right now. You ready? It's very simple. But your human brain is going to tell you that it can't be that simple. Okay? It's going to fight you right away when I give you the answer to tell you that it's not complicated enough. Okay? How do we create confidence instead of stress? You ready? We think confident thoughts. What? Nah, it can't be that easy, Stephanie, right? Whose brain right now in the chat is having the thought, well, that can't be that easy. Otherwise, everybody would do it. We wouldn't have a lack of confidence issue. We wouldn't be stressed about our weight. So who's having thought about that simple answer that I've just given you? Go ahead in the chat. Share what your brain is telling you. So it's very simple. You want to create confidence, you think confident thoughts. You want to create stress, you think stressful thought. You want to create shame, you create shameful thoughts. And then you think them. It's simple, but our super powerful brain, our human brain, doesn't want us to feel confident, right? Somebody in the chat says it's gaslighting myself, right? It's like I'm lying to myself, right? These are all the thoughts your brain will give you. Your brain will say, you're lying to yourself. You're gaslighting yourself. Positive thinking doesn't work, right? Your brain, your human brain, love status quo, especially as a woman. Now, this is where it gets really important for all of you to listen here. As women, we have been socialized to not be an authority in our own life. From as early as we could understand words, we have been socialized to be good girls, or otherwise known as the good girl syndrome. We have been trained, we have been socialized to be good girls. It's like a character we've been asked to play as women. We have been trained to be polite, to be modest, to be quiet, not to argue with societal expectation, not to fight, and to fit within the norm, to conform at all costs. Wherever environment you're in, as a woman, you shall conform. And conforming to the environment we're in, has become safety. Yes, we're trained to not take space. And we are told to conform in our body. We need to comply to societal norm, which right now, in the 1900 and the 2000 has been thin, like weak body type that can be controlled. So we seek conformity, we seek approval, we seek to fit within the norm. And that brings us safety. So when Stephanie comes along and says, well, you just have to think confident thought, your brain has a meltdown. I want you to think of your human brain like a toddler. Your toddler brain has a meltdown because it goes back to all that socialization and says, hell, it's going against the grain. I'm not going to fit the norm anymore. I'm going to be taking space. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to believe what I want. Hell no. And it literally has a bacon dance on the floor because it doesn't want to do that. So all these thoughts that your brain is fighting you, gaslighting yourself, positive thinking, it's your brain fighting you to not change the status quo. Here's another example of how this shows up. Most of my clients inside of Undiet Your Life will tell me in the beginning, but Stephanie, I felt confident when I was in a smaller body. Here's the thing. If you've ever thought this thought, here's what happened in your brain. What you were feeling when you were smaller was not confidence. It was the safety of compliance. You were being a good girl by forcing yourself and shrinking your body, and you were protected from other people's judgment, societal judgment, from you judging yourself, you beating yourself up. You were protected from that because you were compliant. That's what I call body compliance. That is not confidence. When you are confident, it is not shaken by the size of your body. It's not shaken by the wrinkle on your face. It is not shaken by how much money you have, the status in your career. When you have confidence, it is not shaken, disrupted by anything external. Confidence is created by how you think about yourself in the solace of your mind. That's how confidence is created, and hence why the size of your body never affects when confidence is created in your mind. When you think about gaining weight, or that you've gained weight and you think it's bad, it's anxiety driven, it's stressful, it's because you are afraid of losing your safety. That's what we call fat phobia, right? The fear of fatness. What you are afraid of is not the layer of fat on your body, is the feeling of unsafety that you are afraid of experiencing. Get ready for this. When you live in a space where you're not authorizing yourself to think confident thought, you are making your emotion dependent on other. Bam. That's right. When you think that your confidence needs to be approved by external validation, you are therefore making your emotional wellness, the way you feel, dependent on other people. You're making other people responsible for how you feel. Crazy. How many of you currently are having a ha-ha moment to say, yeah, I live in a space where my confidence is dependable on things outside of me? If you are making that your reality, and now I'm coming to you out of nowhere land, this crazy lady who says, I can solve your problem. You have to stop worrying about what other people think and think confident thought. No freaking wonder that your brain's having a meltdown. Okay? It's normal. This is something you've never done before, because up to now, you've been behaving like society wants you, which is to be a good girl, to be compliant, to not argue, to not doing something outside of the mold. So all the freak out your brain is having, I see it every day. I deal with that freak out in all my clients. It's part of the process. We've got to freak out a little bit, and then I got to show you the way. Okay? The self-authorization process is a skill you have to learn. You have to learn to approve of yourself. What? You need to give yourself the permission to think differently about your own freaking body. I'm going to shake you up here a little bit. Think about that for a minute. You need to give yourself permission to have your own opinion of your own body. I need to say it because that's what needs to happen. It doesn't make sense that I have to say that, but that's how we're going to get you through to the other side of confidence. So in your worksheet, you're going to have my top 5 thoughts, 5 confidence-driven thoughts that I use with all my clients. Okay? You're going to pick one. You're going to pick the one that feels better for you. Okay? all bodies are good bodies. You're going to have that in your worksheet. Don't worry. All bodies are good bodies. I'm innately worthy. Or my favorite one, my body is the instrument through which I experience life, not a sign of my worth. I respect my body for taking me to where I am today. You're going to pick one of those 5 thoughts, and then, ready? You're going to sell yourself. You're going to literally be the car salesman, and you're going to sell yourself on thinking that thought. Remember yesterday I gave the example of the groove in the road, the neural pathway in your brain. You're going to build this new highway between those 2 points in your brain. Now, this is going to take time. I'm not going to lie to you and say like this new groove, this new neural pathway is going to build tomorrow. This is where the practice come in. This is where the confidence boot camp, the support, the group, the constant coaching comes in. Your brain is going to fight you all along. It's going to want to go back the old way. This is what coaching does. It brings you back into the way until it's your new normal. Okay? Here's the thing about selling yourself on anything new. Okay? You cannot sell yourself on a new belief from a place of hate and fear. Your brain will not want to do that. You have to sell yourself from a place of love for yourself. In Undiet Your Life, in the very second lesson, I think, we have a decision matrix we teach you. You have to learn to create confidence, to make decision about your life from a place of love instead of fear. When your life has been centric to being a good girl or being in diet culture, you have learned to make decision from a place of fear of gaining weight, fear of other people's opinion, fear of rejection, fear. You have to retrain yourself to make decision for your own life from a place of love. That's how you're going to sell yourself on a new belief, the new belief that you are confident. Here's the thing, and I use that a lot on all of my program. You cannot hate yourself to confidence. You can't beat the shit out of yourself to confidence. You can't create confidence from a place of fear. The only place we can do that from is for love for ourselves. So in your worksheet, I'm going to give you, it's going to go in your mailbox at 6. I've given you 2 short sentences or phrases to use to sell yourself on something. So for those of you who were here yesterday and you have, the exercise we did yesterday, the 5 thoughts you were thinking about your body, pull this up, okay? And we're going to do this exercise together. So here's one sentence you can use to sell yourself. Up until now, I have been thinking, put the thought, my body is ugly, whatever the thought was. Up until now, I've been thinking that my body is ugly, but I don't have to continue. Now it's the time when I have my own back and I choose to think instead, whatever the thought is, I'm innately worthy about my body. Okay? You're recognizing that you were thinking the old thoughts. You're recognizing that you're now making an empowered choice and you're thinking differently. Okay? That's the work. Okay? Look at me in the screen, hair quote. I want to talk about the work, okay? Because this is something I have to course correct a lot in Undiet Your Life, and I want to clear the plate right now. So what do we talk about when we talk about the work? This is such a misunderstanding when we come to undieting our life as women, because what we think the work is our old reference point from our past experience with the work, right? When we were controlling our body, controlling our eating, dieting, doing the work of controlling our body is hard. It's a lot of time. It's painful. It's lonely. It's all very overwhelming. And now we transfer to the non-diet world, and we're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to do work again. Oh, don't want to do that. Too much effort. It's too hard. Because your brain is referencing your past experience. I want to invite you to look at this and call bullshit on this. When we're talking about reshaping our mind, what we're doing here, right? We're not talking about anything exhausting, anything long, anything painful. We're talking about simply thought work, literally watching your brain and course correcting the way you think. That's it. That's the work. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It doesn't take time. It's not overwhelming. It's easy. It's not what we used to think the work of. And many of us are being stopped from changing the way we think because we use the old reference point of work. Here's the coolest thing about undieting work, reshaping our mind. Every little bit of work you do produces a result. It's not like dieting or restricting food where you have to be perfect all the time. If you do 10% of the work, you're going to feel 10% better. So for an example, if you only process using riding the wave 10% of your emotion, you're going to feel 10% better. If you process 20% of your emotion you have in a day, instead of stuffing them, you're going to feel automatically 20% better. It's that easy and directly giving you result in your day-to-day life. So I really want you to put this new definition of the work in your brain and sit on it. Now, it does require repetition. It's not a magic bullet. And that's the work we do through coaching and support and inside of Undiet Your Life. Okay. We're coming up to our coaching time. So if you want to be coached, raise your hand. And then I'm going to go to that screen and bring a couple of you on or drop your question in the Q&A box. So I'm going to recap what we just learned. You create confidence by thinking confident thoughts about your body and about yourself. You need to authorize yourself to think these thoughts day in and day out. That's it. That's simple. That's how you create confidence. Think a confident thought, authorize yourself, have the courage to think confidently about your body, about yourself, about food, whatever your thing is. Rinse and repeat, day in and day out. That's how you create confidence. For those of you who are challenged with food as well, know this. It's the exact same process with food. To become a confident eater, you need to think confident eating thoughts. You need to remove the drama around food in your brain, and you need to think confident thoughts. You need to neutralize food the same way you neutralize your body, okay? And here's the thing. If you have food struggle, right now, plus you have confidence struggle, when you work on your food and you build trust in your body, it's going to expedite your overall confidence. Seen it hundreds of times, done it because you built trust in your body. I'm going to leave you with this thought before I go to coaching. If you keep believing that you have to change for you to be nice to yourself, you will be in that cycle of hatred and self-doubt forever. We do not need to change to be nice to ourselves. That is the good girl syndrome. So stop thinking you have to change before being nice to yourself. The way to be nice to yourself is to think confident thought right away. Okay, tomorrow we're going to go over the number one obstacle, which is other people's thoughts. And then we're going to have our Friday bonus day of coaching and question, all open to answering all your questions. Okay, that's a drink of water. Okay, let's see. What do we have for question? Okay. Watching someone being coached was so good. Absolutely. When you are in a community that is centric to the same pain points, right? And you enter into this group coaching model, you will fast track the own growth that you will have. And I'll tell you why, is because for everyone that has the courage to raise their hand and be coached, they present an angle that you may not even see about yourself. And when you are able to see it in someone else, then it allows you to see it within yourself. And then so you sometimes, if we coach like 4 people, it's 4 different angles of a particular situation where you can pick up those 4 things and understand from the coach what you need to do to change these things in your life. So you got a kind of a 4-for-1 in a 1-hour session. So you're absolutely right. It's very powerful. I'm out of breath. I don't have anyone right now, by the way, who has raised their hand. So if any one of you is sitting right now, knowing that you would benefit from being coached by me, which I know every one of you would, but you're sitting in discomfort, I would ask you to practice riding the wave. And maybe we'll do that as a group right now. And then challenge yourself to go where it's uncomfortable so that you can grow. Somebody is in the chat says I would, but I'm at work. Totally get that. So let's do a bit of I have more questions. I'm going to get to them. I promise you as much as I can. I have a lot of questions. But I want to do a riding the wave exercise for all of you who are on the verge of raising your hands, okay? So exactly what we did with Alyssa yesterday. So assuming you're seated, if you're laying down, just be laying down. But if you're sitting, simply make sure your feet are flat on the ground. If you are in a safe environment, you can close your eyes. And then start breathing in and out. And go into your body where you feel the discomfort, if it's in your tummy, if it's in your chest, and breathe into it. Feel the sensation in your chest, in your tummy, like go there and feel them. It may be really uncomfortable for some of you to feel the emotion in your body, which is the sensation you feel. But that's what the secret is to process and release your emotions. Okay, so go there, breathe in and out through your nose, and describe to yourself the sensation in your body. I feel queasy in my stomach. I feel tension in my shoulder. Describe it to yourself. And just breathe in and out. I want you to imagine the wave in your brain, like you're riding the peak of your wave right now, as you're describing these feelings in your body and you're breathing through them and you're being with them. You're resisting the temptation of opening your eyes and thinking of something else. You're being with them, right? And all of a sudden, the wave is cracking and it's rolling to shore. I want you to look at the sensation you felt before to how you feel now. That's what it's called, processing and releasing. Now, the last piece of the wave is very important, where we ask ourselves, why was I feeling uncomfortable, right? What are the thoughts that created my discomfort? Okay. And likely those thoughts is what Alyssa shared with us yesterday, which is, what are people going to think? I'm going to judge myself. I'm going to criticize. All of these are not the truth. Remember, thoughts are just a string of words put together for you to stay stuck, stay in your current status quo, right? You cannot believe your thoughts. They're not true. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to go to the next question. What if thinking confident thoughts feel like I'm lying to myself and I'm gaslighting myself? I'm going to see if this person by any chance has raised her hand. No. Okay. So I would like to know more, because what you're using in your question are secondary thoughts, right? I feel like I'm lying myself. Every time we're starting a sentence with, I feel like I'm lying myself, that's not a fact of life. That is a thought we're having. You're having the thought that you feel like you're lying to yourself. Why are you thinking that? Why are you thinking that you're lying to yourself? What is the next thought you're having? Right? The other thing you want to think about when you say, I'm, quote, gaslighting myself, it sounds like you are sold on believing that you're, whatever the thought is. I'm a fat person. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person without being fat. I'm just a terrible person, and I need to remain a terrible person, right? So you're gaslighting yourself from getting out of being a terrible person, or whatever the thought is. It's hard for me to coach with not having the person here. So whatever the other thought that you want to hang on to, imagine I'm a terrible person. You want to hang on to that thought. For sure, if you're going to, I don't know, all bodies are good bodies, you're gaslighting yourself because you want to continue to think you're a terrible person. The first step in this, for the person asking this question, is wanting to change. If you're like, no, I want to remain a terrible person. I want to remain an ugly person. I want to remain someone that is a self-doubt, and you're fighting myself. You're like, no, I want to keep being a terrible person. Then stay a terrible person. The first step is being willing to change and saying, okay, I'm done being a terrible person or thinking I'm a terrible person. I want to go somewhere else. Then this gaslighting and lying to yourself will go away because you're wanting to change. So maybe ask yourself, am I really wanting to change? That would be a great question to ask yourself. Okay, next question. Here's another way of thinking about gaslighting. It just came to me. I'm going to be careful here to not bring any religious belief here, but I want you to think about something. In your own spirituality, whatever that is, or religious belief, all of you, does your belief in your religion or your spirituality has a rule about who is deemed worthy or not worthy? Right? I often, like 99% of our clients inside of Undiet Your Life, we have to work on self-worth. And even I just finished a bunch of coaching with professionals, and it was exactly the same thing. 99% of religion and spirituality have one belief, which is love win and all human beings are worthy. But as we are exposed to diet culture and the thin ideal and the good girl syndrome, we have this very individualized belief that we are the exception to the rule that all humans are worthy. So in a way, if that's you, the person who asked the question, right? I think I'm gaslighting myself and believing that I'm innately worthy. I want you to flip it on the other side. If you are a human being born on planet Earth, aren't you born worthy? Are you not gaslighting yourself by believing that you're not worthy of being confident? That's where I find most women are at. They're thinking that when we get really into the coaching, they're believing that the exception to the rule of being a worthy human being. And as a result, they're truly gaslighting themselves, because all humans are born innately worthy, independent of their size, of their handicap, of their color of their skin. Everybody is worthy. So if you're living in a mental space right now where you truly believe that you're not worthy, you are in fact gaslighting yourself from universal truth that all humans are worthy. So another way of thinking about that. Okay. Next one. My brain is going, comma, but you want to be loved, and loving yourself will not make other people love you. And it continues to say, we can't just ignore the rest of society. These thoughts there, these are all thoughts. They're not true. They're all thoughts that this person is having. These are word for word the good girl syndrome. They're 100% the socialization of patriarchy to women. Notice in all of these thoughts, but you want to be loved. Okay, it's true that all humans want to be loved, but first, it starts by you loving yourself. We cannot give to other people what we don't have. So the permanent way, the consistent way of being loved by others is by first loving yourself. That's how you attract people that are loving you for you. Otherwise, here's what happened. You play a character, a people-pleasing character to be loved. Oh, what a nightmare. Who's in this room right now is people-pleasing? Or known to be, or recognize themselves to be a people-pleaser? Just in the chat, just so we all feel good that we're not alone, because I was the best people pleaser in the world. Okay. So people pleasing is, so I have a concept that we teach called diet brain, which is the 4, look at that, the chat's on fire. The 4 most common thought error from women who want to be confident. And one of them is people pleasing, which is exactly the thought here. Oh, I see that this person has raised her hand. Let me bring her on and we're going to work this live with her. Okay. Sorry, if I didn't bring you on right away, I am so sorry. I didn't know how long your hand has been raised. I'm so sorry if I missed you. Hello. Can you hear me? Hi. Bonjour. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Good. How are you feeling?
Okay.
Awesome. So your brain is telling you, but you want to be loved. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask it another way. Do you love yourself right now?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's okay.
Sometimes.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So that means there's time where you love yourself and there's times when you don't love yourself.
Well, I just don't feel that it would be, well, I think it might be lonely, right? If I'd only love myself and no one else loves me.
Okay, so you're projecting something that you don't know for sure will really happen.
Probably, yeah.
That's okay. That's a great, this is what coaching is about. Coaching is about getting someone else into your brain, listening to it, and saying, this is where you're going wrong with your thinking. That's what coaching is about. So what I'm hearing is like, you're not even expressing a reality, you're projecting what might happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Let's imagine you loved yourself 100% of the time. Like you're your own best friend, you have your own back, you can have fun with yourself. Like you're like fully amazed by yourself. Would you worry about not being loved?
Well, if I would think that way, maybe I could give more love to other people as well.
Yes. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can you see that? Or your brain is still fighting you?
It's still fighting, and then at the same time I can see it, but it's still like the thoughts don't just like vanish. But yeah.
Okay. So what is the work for you then? You can see it, but then it vanishes. How do we make that stick?
I don't know, by trying it.
That's
I
okay.
suppose.
Yeah. So one of the ways to do that is practicing this new thought. Remember the neural pathways into the brain? Right now, the neural pathway is, if I don't please other people, I might be lonely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the new pathway you want to build is, if I love myself, what did you say? If I love myself, I'll be able to love even more people or deeper?
I think I'd be able to give more, I think, or love more.
Which is what love is giving to other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we keep practicing these thoughts, right? So a great way to do that, Post-it notes. Very simply, like if you ever see pictures of my home, you will see Post-it notes everywhere of thoughts that I want to intentionally think so that I feel a certain way. So for you, you're trying to create safety around love, right? By loving yourself. So every time you can think of that thought, you're going to feel safe. And then literally in your brain, if we go from a science perspective, you're going to bring literally a new wired connection. And with time, that's going to be your default thinking. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What else is your brain telling you right now?
I think those were the main thoughts, and just really having that image of being able to be more open if I'm more self-confident is a very nice image, because I mean it's saying yes to life a bit more.
Yes. What would you do? What would be a goal of yours when you become that confident version of yourself you want to become?
I think I'd be more, maybe I'd be more joyful, or I'd go towards people more and be
Yes.
together with people more.
So more socialization.
Yes, because what I did at one point, I mean, I did say loving myself only would be lonely, but now I'm also lonely in a way, because I distance myself from many people as well. So in
You
a sense,
just realized that, right?
mm-hmm. What I realized was that I was a people pleaser. I didn't really realize that I was a people pleaser. Yeah, I didn't know that concept as such. So I'm going to have to look into that a bit more.
Well, so your brain wants to like, I've got to look into this more. That's human brain, right? You don't need to look. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we worry more about other people than we worry about ourselves, that's people pleasing. It doesn't get more complicated than this. Our brain will want to complicate it so we don't do the work. The work is every time you're starting to prioritize other people's need, then you need to call yourself. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I am the most important person to myself. How can I fulfill myself first and then go to others? But not go to others to get validated, but go to others because I want to give.
Mm-hmm. Well, I realized that growing up as a child, I did prioritize my mother's needs or my sister's needs all the time.
Yes.
And
so now your brain has been wired to be a people pleaser. So now your work as I like to say, a grown-up woman, is to pull up your big girl's panties and say, okay, we're going to change this. Now I'm going to take responsibility for myself. I'm not a child anymore. I'm going to be a grown-ass woman, and I'm going to stop people pleasing because I'm not a child anymore. And that's the work. Does that make sense to you? So another thought you wrote, and I'm going to be the last one we're going to work through together. You said, we can't just ignore the rest of society. Tell me a little bit more about this. How does that work in your brain?
I studied cultural anthropology,
yep,
which is a lot about society and culture and how it works. And yeah, in a way, obviously we have our agency. We can change what we do, and at the same time we are part of this world. And I mean, everybody should be taking this webinar so that there would be no racism, there would be no I mean, disabilities, no yeah, it goes much
any
more
ism.
further than this. Yes, there would be no any isms at all. And but we're sadly not in a place, and there is racism everywhere, and there are lots of isms everywhere.
Yeah.
And even if the religion says love thy neighbor and everyone is worthy, I mean, people kill each other and there are robberies and blah blah blah. So we can't just ignore the society we are in, I suppose.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What is the best place to contribute to society? Is it from a place of self-doubt, shame, and anxiety? Or is it from a place of confidence?
It's from a place of confidence. I would say it's being an example for what you would like others to be.
Yes, to hold the possibility for other people. Right? So if you went back 5 years in my life, I was like, well, 5-6 years in my life, I was like this, like, I can't be a fat person giving a conference. Like, no way. But by being a fat person talking about confidence, how did that land into you? Did that inspire you?
And your energy and your, I don't know, how do you say the Ausstrahlung? Your
vibration.
Yes, your radiation, that inspires me.
It's going to help you to some degree in your life. Me feeling confident about myself will inspire you to do more with your own life. So in a way, I'm caring a lot about society by me working on myself to be confident. Did that help you change this thought around?
And I think, yeah, it's like piece by piece. I mean, every change in society will take time. And I think it's a movement, maybe,
yes,
that we have to start a movement together.
We have to start by ourselves. I always say that to my student. The first place to start is you building yourself up and then going out into the world and helping build the world. So just one thing for you, given your specialty, anthropology and society, think about shame from that perspective. One of the oldest technique that humans use to keep people in community is shame, right? We shame people who are walking out of the tribe because the society wants to perform a certain way. That's what socialization is. When I keep talking about socialization to patriarchy and diet culture, in order to keep women in that small little pack circle, we induce shame thoughts so they don't walk out, so we don't get out. So it's a behavioral of a tribe that we're expressing right now through socialization to patriarchy. I'm running out of time. Okay, thank you very much, Ria.
Thank you, merci.
Thank you for having the courage to come up. Okay, there's a bunch of questions, obviously, that I'm going to get to. We're going to all keep them. Okay, we're all going to keep them, and then we're going to have them on Friday. You're going to get your replay. There's some great questions. I can't wait to answer all of them. We're going to keep those questions. I'm going to answer them on Friday. You're going to get your replay within 3 hours and your worksheet. Write down the thoughts you're having and all the brain stuff your brain is giving you not to do the work. And then we're going to work on that tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye. Beyond ready to shed diet culture from your life and become the expert at your own body? Awesome. Then you need to join Undiet Your Life program. Go to stephaniedodier.com/join and join us now. Undiet Your Life is the first program of its kind with the unique combination of mindset, life coaching with intuitive eating and body image. Find your freedom, reclaim your power, and take control of your time so you can refocus on what really matters to you. Join Undiet Your Life at stephaniedodier.com/join, and I'll see you on the other side.